Magical objects have been an enduring part of human history, shaping myths, legends, and even daily life. Across civilizations and time periods, people have ascribed supernatural powers to objects, believing they could heal, protect, influence destiny, or unlock the secrets of the universe. From ancient amulets to enchanted swords, alchemical relics to modern-day lucky charms, magical objects represent humanity's desire to harness the unknown and bridge the gap between the natural and the supernatural. These artifacts have not only influenced folklore, but have also played significant roles in shaping cultures, traditions, and beliefs that persist to this day. The origins of magical objects can be traced back to humanity's earliest attempts to understand and control the forces of nature. Prehistoric people lived in a world of uncertainty, surrounded by dangers they could neither predict nor fully comprehend. To gain some measure of security, they created amulets and talismans from natural materials such as bones, stones, shells, and animal teeth, believing these objects carried protective or mystical properties. Some of the earliest known magical artifacts were discovered in burial sites, indicating that ancient people believed these objects could guide the deceased safely into the afterlife. Cave paintings and carvings also suggest that early humans imbued objects with symbolic power, using them in rituals to ensure good hunting, fertility, and protection against unseen forces. As civilizations emerged, the use of magical objects became more sophisticated and deeply interwoven with religious and spiritual beliefs. In ancient Egypt, amulets were an essential part of life and death, with symbols such as the Eye of Horus offering protection, the Ankh representing eternal life, and the scarab beetle signifying rebirth. These objects were placed in tombs, worn as jewelry, and incorporated into elaborate burial rituals to ensure safe passage into the afterlife. Similarly, the Mesopotamians crafted protective seals and figurines to ward off evil spirits, while in China, jade was considered a stone of immortality, believed to possess healing and purifying properties. The Greeks and Romans further expanded the significance of magical objects, integrating them into mythology, daily life, and even warfare. Greek mythology is filled with enchanted items, from Perseus' reflective shield, used to slay Medusa, to the winged sandals of Hermes, which granted the power of flight. The Romans, who borrowed heavily from Greek traditions, used magical rings, charms, and engraved gemstones as protective amulets. Some Roman generals and emperors even claimed to possess mystical weapons or armor blessed by the gods. Magical objects were not only tools of protection and power, but also symbols of divine favor, often associated with heroes, kings, and figures of great authority. Perhaps one of the most famous categories of magical objects in folklore is enchanted weapons. Throughout history, legendary swords have been depicted as instruments of destiny, granting their wielders supernatural strength and legitimacy. The most iconic of these is Excalibur, the legendary sword of King Arthur, which symbolized rightful kingship and divine power. According to legend, only the true king could pull Excalibur from the stone, reinforcing the idea that magical objects were tied to fate and destiny. Other famous weapons include the Norse hammer Mjolnir, wielded by Thor, which could summon thunder and always return to his hand, and the Japanese Kusanagi no Tsurugi, a mythical sword said to control the wind. These legendary artifacts played crucial roles in shaping the myths and heroic tales that define cultures and their values. Beyond weapons, magical objects in folklore often took the form of rings, mirrors, cloaks, and even books filled with forbidden knowledge. The Ring of Gyges, described by Plato, granted invisibility to its wearer, raising profound ethical questions about the nature of power and morality. In contrast, Tolkien's One Ring, inspired by similar myths, represented absolute power and its corrupting influence. The magical mirrors in fairy tales, such as the one in Snow White, served as windows into hidden truths or alternate realms. Cloaks of invisibility, seen in stories from Norse sagas to modern fantasy, allowed heroes to move unseen, emphasizing themes of secrecy and deception. Even books were seen as magical, with ancient grimoires containing spells, potions, and secrets that only the most skilled practitioners could decipher. During the medieval and Renaissance periods, the perception of magical objects evolved alongside advancements in alchemy and science. Alchemists sought to create the Philosopher's Stone, an object believed to grant immortality and transmute base metals into gold. This pursuit blended mystical traditions with early scientific experimentation, laying the groundwork for modern chemistry. Magical relics, such as the Holy Grail, were also deeply revered during this time, believed to hold divine power and offer eternal life. Secret societies, including the Rosicrucians and Freemasons, claimed to possess mystical artifacts imbued with lost or forbidden knowledge, further fueling the mystique surrounding magical objects. Even in modern times, the belief in magical objects persists. Fantasy literature and films are filled with enchanted artifacts, from wands and rings to potions and relics. These stories tap into ancient traditions, demonstrating that our fascination with magical objects remains as strong as ever. Beyond fiction, many people still attribute significance to objects such as lucky charms, heirlooms, and religious relics. A rabbit's foot, a four-leaf clover, or a talisman passed down through generations may not possess actual supernatural power, but they carry deep personal and cultural meaning. Ultimately, the history of magical objects is a reflection of humanity's enduring desire to connect with something greater than ourselves. Whether as symbols of protection, sources of wisdom, or instruments of fate, these artifacts tell the story of our evolving beliefs, fears, and aspirations. They serve as bridges between the known and the unknown, the material and the spiritual, reminding us that magic, whether real or imagined, continues to be an integral part of the human experience. Even in a world driven by science and technology, the allure of magical objects remains, a testament to the timeless power of wonder, mystery, and imagination.